So we're clear for the record. The ADA assistance is necessary for Mr. Knutson's hearing loss. This would be a real-time translation of the questions asked of Mr. Knutson so that he can read them and then respond verbally. Ms. Sorgen, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Would you please state your name for the record?
Gordon Knutson.
Push the microphone down. There you go. Just name it at his chin. Thank you. Hand it back on. Hold it down. Is it on? Okay, it's good.
Again.
Say that for me one more time.
Gordon Knutson.
Gordon, you're Anita's dad, is that right?
That's right.
How old are you, Gordon?
90.
And you have some hearing loss, is that correct?
Yeah, very much so.
I'm going to speak slowly so that we can follow along for questions, okay?
Okay.
We heard from testimony from your wife earlier that Anita was a college student. Is that right?
That's right.
Where did she go to school?
Wayne State College, I guess.
And where did she live while she was going to college?
I don't know the address. It's up in North Hill. I was found it
Northville.
again.
What city?
Minot.
And what county is Minot in?
I know it, but I can't think of it right now.
Does Ward County sound familiar?
That's right.
Had you ever been to Anita's apartment?
Yes.
How many times had you been to Anita's apartment while she lived there?
I believe 4 times.
And what did you do when you went to that apartment?
Well, a couple times just to pick her up, but one time I fixed in the bathroom, the fan was making a lot of noise, and, well, actually, it wasn't even hardly running very good.
Did you ever fix anything else in Anita's house, or Anita's apartment?
No,
Did you ever do any installation of anything in Anita's apartment?
no.
Gordon, how's your memory?
It's like my hearing, very poor.
Okay. Gordon, do you know what year it was that Anita lived in that apartment?
Uh, 2007.
Who did Anita live with?
Nichole.
Did you ever meet Nichole?
Yeah, when we rented the apartment.
Gordon, I'm going to draw your attention to June of 2007. You were living where at that time?
I didn't get all that. In Butte, North Dakota.
Did you ever have occasion to go to Minot?
Did I ever have occasion to go to Minot? Sure.
You did, okay. What would you go to Minot for?
Well, we do shopping or whatever. I go there quite often.
You would go there quite often. Did you see Anita when you would go to Minot?
Yeah, but I usually went to where she was working.
Not to the apartment?
Right.
Did Anita have a vehicle?
Yes, she did.
What kind of vehicle did she have?
It was a white panel. I forgot the name of the brand.
That's okay. Was it a sedan, a truck, a SUV, a van?
Well, it was the one that had the side doors slipped open instead of opened, you know.
But you recognized her car, is that right?
Yeah.
Gordon, do you remember a time when Sharon asked you to check on Anita because she had not heard from her for a few days?
Yes. That was the first thing I did when I went that day.
And do you remember what day that was?
That was the 4th of June.
In what year?
2007.
And you said that was the first thing that you did when you got there, is that right?
I don't.
Let me ask a better question. June 4th, 2007, you came to Minot, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And Sharon asked you to check on Anita.
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor, leaving.
Sustained.
What did you do when Sharon asked you to check on her?
I said, that's the first thing I'm going to do, is go there.
About what time did you go there?
Well, I think we left right right after I had breakfast, and then it takes about an hour to get there, so that's about when I got up there.
Okay. And do you know approximately what time of day that would have been?
Around 10 o'clock,
About 10 a.m.?
yeah.
Okay. And how did you check on Anita?
I just went up and knocked on the door, and in fact, several times, there was no answer. I tried to see if it was, if I could get in, and it was locked.
Then what did you do?
And I had noticed that her car was there, but I didn't, at that time, didn't think too much about it because she a lot of times went with a friend.
Okay. So what did you do next?
Well, I went back to town because this is in North Hill where she lived, and I went, we all three of us got what we needed, and I started home, and Sharon called me and said she still couldn't get a hold of Anita.
Okay, I'm going to back you up a little bit, Gordon. You said all three of us. You had other people with you?
I had two friends with me.
Okay. And so then you received another call from Sharon. So then what did you do?
I turned around and went back up to where she lived.
And about what time was that?
I would say it was around noon, I believe. I'm not sure of that.
And what did you do when you got back to the apartment?
I went straight to the manager's office and told him we couldn't get a hold of Anita and that I would like to see what's going on, if she would let me in.
Did you have a key to Anita's apartment?
Did I have a key?
Correct. Did you have a key?
No, I didn't have a key.
Why did you go to find the manager?
To get into the apartment.
Once you found the manager, what did you do?
She said that she could get into trouble if she did that. And I said, you can get into trouble if you don't do it too.
So then what happened?
She got up and got the keys, and about that time, the maintenance man was there also, and he stated that he had found a screen from a window of one of the apartments, and he thought it was from her apartment.
So then what did you do?
So one of my friends, myself, and the maintenance man and the lady that was the manager walked up there. Only thing is, we walked not to the door, but where the window was.
What did you see when you were at the window?
Pardon me?
What did you see when you were at the window?
I seen Anita.
Where was Anita?
She was just laying in bed just inside the window.
How was she laying?
like face down.
What did you do when you saw her laying face down?
I told her to get the door open,
You told who to get the door
and she
open?
was already going that direction, and she did open the door.
And who was it that opened the door?
The manager.
Once she opened the door, what did you do?
I just went in and the door was open to the bedroom and I walked in and I checked her, put my hand on her leg and she was cold.
And then what happened?
I told her that the landlady to call the police, please, but I noticed she already was, and so that was.
And did you stay around until the police came?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Did you give a statement to the police?
Yes, not at first, but then he had told me that he wanted to stay around and identify the body before, when they took her away.
The policeman told you that?
And I did that, but then he kept, the same person, same police officer came and got me and wanted to interview me at the office.
Okay.
And so we went there, and by that time, there was somebody else that had taken care of identifying the body.
Thank you, Gordon. I have no more questions.
Mr. Sand, do you have any questions for Mr. Knutson?
I do, Your Honor, and I'm having the same issue with this computer screen, so I don't really stand up.
Yes, you may stand up.
And I know we've had mic issues, is that any better?
I talked to her.
Can you hear me all right? Great. Gordon, I'm sorry for your loss.
I can't hear.
I just have a few questions for you. You talked with the state's attorney about going to Anita's apartment that day. Do you recall the maintenance man?
His name, no, I don't.
Do you recall talking to him that day?
The only thing I know about him after that was in the paper he committed suicide.
Okay. Did he get the screen for you that you were talking about earlier?
Yes,
And he thought that was Anita's screen?
yes.
Okay. Did you see where the screen was?
No, I didn't. He said it was about out in the middle of the lawn.
Okay. Did he tell you anything about curtains or a curtain rod from Anita's room?
No.
He didn't tell you that he had thrown the curtains and curtain rod back in her room earlier?
I don't remember that, no.
Gordon, do you remember doing a deposition a couple of years ago with Miss Sorgan and Mr. Becker from our office?
Right.
Do you recall talking about the maintenance man and what had happened at that deposition? I can rephrase that, that's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you recall discussing the maintenance man with Ms. Sorgan and Mr. Becker at the deposition?
Right, I could recall that. And what he was asking me, well, how many feet away the screen was. And I said, well, I really don't know. He said, well, was it 5 feet or 10 feet? I says, no, more like 100.
Do you recall
He
specific?
didn't ask me any more about that.
Do you recall specifically discussing how it could have been that the maintenance man didn't see Anita's body?
No, I didn't talk about that. I wondered about it because as soon as I got a few feet away, there was a flower bed, outside at the bottom, so you couldn't get too close without walking in it. But yeah, I knew something was definitely wrong.
Okay. If I showed you a page from that deposition, would that help refresh your recollection?
Yeah, I know I made some mistakes on there. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm not saying it's a mistake. Are your eyes okay for reading this?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Knutson, can I have you just review from here to the bottom of the page?
Oh, that sounds right.
Okay. And so does that refresh your recollection of that conversation a little bit? Does that help you remember that conversation a little bit?
Yeah.
So, if Mr. Beck, do you recall discussing a maintenance man with Mr. Becker?
Is that what the maintenance man's name is?
No, that's the
I
attorney.
don't understand that question.
Sorry. I've shown you this page from the deposition.
Yeah.
Does that help you recall this conversation you had with the attorney at the deposition?
Yeah, I guess it does, but I can't figure why he was asking me where I found it, because I didn't find it.
Well, again, I can show this to you again, it's not about the screen. It's about whether or not you thought the maintenance man could see Anita's body. And then you had said, I'll have you look at it one more time, sir, if that's all right. Just from this line, and this is the most important line right here, if that would refresh your recollection.
I don't know what you're getting at, so I just,
Did you tell Mr. Becker unless he was blind, he wouldn't have seen her?
all I wanted to do was get away from him asking me where the way he put it, I'm the one that found them, and I didn't. He's the one that told me where it was.
You're talking about the screen? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking about Anita's body. Unless he was blind, he wouldn't have been able to see it looking in that window. Because it sounds like you saw it right when you looked in, correct?
I don't know what you're getting at. I don't understand what you're getting at.
I understand that with this card system, it's difficult to understand. When you looked in the window, you had testified earlier that you were able to see Anita, correct?
Right.
And when you discussed with Mr. Becker, whether the maintenance man would have been able to see that? I've had you read it a few times.
If we were standing at the same place I did, and he was,
Right,
he should be able to see that it was her, yeah.
okay, thank you. Now, was there anything else in particular you noticed about the scene?
No.
No? Okay. Now, I asked your wife the same question, but I'm sure you want justice for what happened, correct?
Yeah.
And you believe you deserve it, correct? Okay. That's all I got, Mr. Knutson. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Sorgan, do you have any redirect, ma'am?
Very briefly, Your Honor. Gordon? When Mr. Sand just asked you a question about you standing at the window, you said you knew something was definitely wrong. Why did you say that?
Well, when I seen her laying there, I figured she was dead.
What did you see of her when you looked in the window the first time?
I thought she was dead.
Specifically, what part of Anita did you see when you looked in the window?
Objection, Your Honor, would be on the scope of cross here.
No, objection's overruled. You opened it up with what was seen by the maintenance guy, or should have been seen by the maintenance guy, so no.
So Gordon, what part of Anita's body did you see?
Is this is going on? Mainly her head, because she had a blanket over her.
What color was the blanket?
It was a dark reddish color.
What color was Anita's hair?
She had black hair.
She had black hair and she was with a dark blanket on her bed. Is that right?
Uh,
Do you remember if the lights were on or off when you looked in the window in the bedroom?
They were off.
Thank you. I have no more questions.
Mr. Sand?
Nothing else, Your Honor.
All right, is Mr. Knutson here by subpoena, Ms. Sorgan?
He is, Your Honor.
Is excused?
Yes.
Mr. Sand, do you have any objections?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Knutson, thank you for your testimony. You are excused, sir. You may come and go as you please.